Hello, welcome to this new video for me. I am World's Finalist, World's Top 4, World's Top 8 finisher and the 3-time regional champion Michael Kelch, and today I am going to rank all 80 Pokemon in Pokemon Champions. I made a list of the best 80 Pokemon. If you ask why did I choose the number 80, it just happened that way. I feel like that was the vibe it was giving me. I just chose the best Pokemon, and in the end I had a full number of 80. I could have chosen more, I could have chosen less, but I think that's just quite a good number. We have 8 different tiers from S to C, and it's obviously going to be a subjective tier list. I mainly focus on the best of 3 aspect because it's when like original and official tournaments are being held. Also, big online tournaments are also played in the best of 3 open team sheet format. So if you say, oh no, my Melima is super good, you can think that, but I am not taking too much credit of like best of 1 ladder. I will still keep that in mind just a little bit, but it doesn't have a big factor in this ranking today, because this is also supposed to be a ranking for the World Championship that is going to happen in late of August. Not that long anymore, about 7 weeks left until we have the big finale of the season, the World Championship. So I'm super excited for that, and I would say we should get started immediately. I will talk about all Pokemon, what their strengths, what their weaknesses are, give you some spreads, some ideas on what sets to run. So yeah, without further ado, I think we should get started with Charizard X. Charizard X is quite interesting because it was not bad in Regulation MA. It wasn't like the biggest meta threat, but on some balanced teams it still performed quite a bit. Now all the balanced teams opt for Delphox over Charizard, interestingly enough. Its typing is still quite good into opposing Charizard Y. However, the problem for Charizard X is that its main stab is not great as a setup Pokemon, because Temper Flare is a little bit too weak, and if you want Flare Blitz, recoil is just bad for a setup Pokemon. Where do I put it? I think it's not terrible. It's also, by the way, quite possible that I will put a Pokemon somewhere and then in the end decide to put them higher or lower as well. So it's not a final judgment. The final judgment will happen once we ranked all Pokemon. But I think Charizard Mega X, it doesn't see much play, which is a little surprising because it matches up decently into a lot of things, but also being slower than Garchomp and always like Rock Slide and Dragon Claw are both annoying. And Garchomp is one of the best Pokemon. It's susceptible to Intimidate, and that's why Charizard X doesn't see much play. If you want to play it, you can pair it with like Coaching Sneasler. Sneasler also ensures setup with like Fake Out, and then you can click Drain Dance, but it's still not in a great spot, especially because Rain also got more popular now in Regulation MB, which is pretty bad for Charizard X. Next up, we've got Charizard Y, and I think the Pokemon that wins all tournaments should be an S tier for sure. Charizard Y, I've been hating on it since it came out. Actually, it got released 10 years ago, over 10 years ago at this point, but since Champions, I was saying like Hazard is a fraud, but it actually isn't. You can run a max first step set, which survives Rock Slide from Aerodactyl, Life Orb Rock Slide from Garchomp, which is nuts. You can run a Timid Nature, which can surprise opponents and can catch them off guard in closed team sheet mainly, because in open team sheet we have natures, right? So you can't catch them off guard that way, but still some game plans where, for example, your opponent, their entire game plan is for their Vivillon, for example, to outspeed a Charizard, but when you're timid Charizard, really big advantage. Or you just run a very strong Modest Charizard. So a lot of different opportunities you have to play Charizard, even though you always play like one moveset with Heat Wave, Solar Beam, and Weather Ball, and Protect. Sometimes people experiment with like Overheat, over Weather Ball, or even Blast Burn. You can use Ancient Power against opposing Charizard, but it's not that good, and like the standard moveset is just the best. Then we've got Blastoise, and Blastoise has been on the rise like crazy because Mega Blastoise with Shell Smash is such a huge threat and just counters a lot of dangerous leads, something like Bascule Legion plus Aerodactyl. Blastoise is generally really good into Bascule Legion because you have Dark Pulse to finish it off. It has the same speed here as well, so sometimes there are like Blastoise versus Bascule Legion speed ties, but it shines after it gets a Shell Smash off, because after it gets a Shell Smash off, there are not a ton of water resists in the current meta game, because, for example, the most common Dragon type is Garchomp, not a water resist, and a lot of water resists get hit by Dark Pulse like Sinistcha, Bascule Legion, so water Dark Courage is just really good, and that's what makes Blastoise so strong. I think A is a decent tier, because the problem Blastoise has is that once you get damaged, then your water spell doesn't do that much damage. You pair it with Sinistcha most of the time to heal yourself back up, but it's still tricky. You have to be very careful, especially if your opponent leads two Pokemon that have a lot of damage into Blastoise. You cannot just fake out Shell Smash that easily, right? But with Redirection from Mousehold or Sinistcha, sometimes you can just lead with Redirection instead, get a Shell Smash off, and then steamroll really quickly, and that's what makes Blastoise so dangerous. Fun fact, I finished first in the second MA season with Mega Blastoise before it got super popular, and I also, in the beginning of Reg MA, made a Rain Dance Faria Blastoise team that also was super devastating on the ladder. But yeah, Blastoise is a Pokemon that is in my heart. Next up, we've got Venusaur. I think Venusaur is slightly worse. It just base Venusaur, by the way. We also have Mega Venusaur, but we will get to that in a second. Maybe still A tier, but base Venusaur, super dangerous because it can hit the grass types that are immune to Sleep Powder with Sludge Bomb, and Sleep Powder is just such a dangerous move. Yes, Sleep got nerfed in Champions, but it's still one of the best tools. I mean, you have seen it everywhere. Sleep Powder Venusaur, Sleep Powder Vivillon, Hypnosis Milotic. So Venusaur is still a good Pokemon. Sleep Powder is a little unreliable though, but also as an offensive threat, now with Life Orb, Solar Beam, Sludge Bomb, Earth Power sets are also popular. I have seen that lately together with like Helping Hand Charizard, which is quite interesting, because if you have Charizard Venusaur, you're like, opposing Aerodactyl is super scary, but then you can just click Helping Hand Solar Beam and the Aerodactyl just pops. So that's pretty cool as well. So you have a bit of customization on the Venusaur as well, which is quite nice. It's still a little inconsistent since it only really works with Charizard Y. So if you bring it, you have to pair with Charizard Y, and it's very obvious as well. Like, you don't have to lead with it, but if you don't lead Charizard and you lead Venusaur, you don't get advantage of the Sun. So that's not amazing. And if you lead Charizard and bring Venusaur in the back, then you don't have enough Sun turns to like abuse it. So often your opponent can just go for a lead that's good into Zard plus Venusaur, and then you are already on the back foot. Something like Delphox, for example. Delphox lead, even if you have Sleep Powder, you have to hit, they burn a Sleep turn immediately, and next turn they can already wake up. So a little complicated for Venusaur. Mega Venusaur, probably slightly worse, because not necessarily because it takes the Mega slot, but Chlorophyll is just great. Fake Fat is also great, but it more works as this tanky damage trading Pokemon, which is also what I like to play. Maybe that's why I like Mega Venusaur a lot. But Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, Earth Power is the most common moveset with Protect. And instead of investing into offense, like, you still can run max special attack, you just don't invest into speed that much and go for bulk instead. But Venusaur Mega also quite dangerous because it can take hits, and you can also abuse opponents' Sun with your base Venusaur, or you pair Mega Venusaur with Mega Charizard Y, so that you have the option to either go for Mega Venusaur in matchups where Zard Y isn't that good, for example Sand, or you go for Mega Zard Y and base Venusaur. That also works. It's not terrible, but base Venusaur really needs the item, either Focus Sash or Life Orb, so that's what makes it slightly worse. When we've got Ninetales, well, Ninetales has won a few online tournaments. The first big online tournament in Regulation MB was won by Ninetales, and if you're asking what does it do, it provides Sun, which is great for something like Mega Pyro, and also some more supporting tools in, for example, fake tiers. Fake tiers very dangerous. Also learns Helping Hand, and Ninetales also, I remember it had a finals appearance in one of the Regulation F tournaments. Shoutouts to Carson Comfer for making Ninetales shine. So yeah, in a lower power level format, I think Ninetales is not bad. There are not that many Sun abusers though. No photosynthesis anywhere with like Raging Bolt, Flutter Main, but it can still be quite nice, especially for something like Pyro, because Pyro really likes the multipliers it gets, and Ninetales can add not just Sun, also Helping Hand or Fake Tears, which is really cool, but I don't think it's a meta staple. Then we've got Ninetales Alola, and Ninetales Alola, weather is just good. There's a lot of weather in this meta game, but ice types are also really good, especially ice types that outspeed Garchomp. Very nice. You have Blizzard to just knock out Garchomp, Freeze Drive for something like Basculegion, Milotic, like all the water types. So that's already enough. You mainly run 2 attacks. Sometimes you also drop Freeze Drive and only play Blizzard. And then you have a lot of different options to round out the set. You can play Anchor, you can play Disable, Aurora Veil is not bad, Icy Wind could also be used for speed control. I do not recommend running something like Moonblast. Yes, it is a stab move, but Moonblast doesn't really hit anything that well. Like, you already hit all the dragon types with Blizzard, and yeah, you could say, oh, I have a neutral hit into Incineroar. It's not worth it. So yeah, Ninetales, very dangerous Pokemon, nice speed tier, and good Pokemon into rain especially. So that's all what speaks for Ninetales. I think it's still slightly worse than Venusaur, maybe B+, but definitely a foe to be reckoned with. Then we've got Raichu, and Raichu is I don't know. Like, I made Raichu a little bit more popular with the Savolage Milotic team. It still doesn't see that much play, or at least it doesn't see that much success, if we are being honest. In the latest online tournaments, at least the biggest ones, Raichu hasn't been performing at all. Its speed here is amazing, and the damage output is also crazy. I don't know if Raichu isn't like, not, how do you say it, it isn't cracked, it isn't fully discovered yet. However, will people, or are people able to discover it until Worlds? I would say yes. I've seen some players experimenting with Mamoswine, because the biggest threat obviously for Raichu is Garchomp, also Sinistra, and so pairing it with an ice type is not bad. I've seen it being paired with Ninetales as well. Main set is Zap Cannon, Focus plus Fake Out Protect. It's just a really good set. I usually invest it into HP and defense. I do not really invest into special attack, because you still get the OKOs like Charizard with Zap Cannon. So that's pretty cool. I think Charizard is not bad. It's better than Zard for sure. Is it better than Ninetales? I would say so. But is it better than Mega Venu? Tough, because it's really hard to compare these two, because they play super differently. But I would put it below Venu, if I'm being honest. Then next up we've got Arcanine, and Arcanine, I'm not putting it in B-. I wanted to move it out of the list tier, but Arcanine is, I don't know, it's been really good towards the end of Reg MA, and I am a little surprised that it doesn't perform that well in Reg MB, because they added a few Steel-type Pokemon such as Metagross, Goldango. I guess Metagross has Stomping Tantrum and is faster, Swampert Rain being quite a popular archetype is also not good for it. Blastoise seeing more and more usage is also not great, but it's still really good into Charizard and Floette simultaneously. A lot of fire types are, to be fair, but Arcanine even more, because many fire types still do not deal that much damage back into Charizard, for example. I guess Arcanine deals a little bit of damage back into Charizard. Also, Extreme Speed as a priority is nice. The problem still is like Garchomp and Basculegion being one of the main, or like being the main threats, right? I would still put it over Charizard, however, but not that much higher. Base Gyarados actually had a top 8 finish in a very big online tournament with a very unique moveset of Waterfall, Power Whip, Temper Flare, and Protect with Expert Belt. Super interesting. It gets a lot of interesting moves in general, such as T-Wave, Taunt, Icy Wind, so some supporting stuff. Dragon Dance is obviously a choice as well, but if you use Dragon Dance, you probably just use Mega Gyarados instead. But Gyarados Intimidate is good, but it's still not in a great spot. The good part about Gyarados is there are not a lot of dangerous electric types. As I just said, there's Raichu, which isn't like super popular, and then look at the list. I don't see any electric types. Like, I see a Rotom Wash, and other than that, no electric types, unless I'm blind. I mean, we will get to that in a second, but I don't see any electric types. So that's what's like the niche of Gyarados in general, also for Gyarados Mega. Not having many common weaknesses. Having the Walk weakness pre-Mega is still annoying, because Rock Slide is everywhere, but you can at least mitigate the damage with Intimidate. So where do I put Gyarados? I think B- is fair. Maybe also C, because I don't see it over Ninetales, just because it's like, its typing is good in the current meta game, but at the same time it doesn't do that much back. Like, you can throw out a T-Wave, but the meta is too fast-paced for Gyarados, I feel like. Mega Gyarados is a little better. I would also put it over Charizard, probably. Actually, I would put base Gyarados here, because they are not that much different. Mega Gyarados has the advantage that it just gets much stronger, gets some bulk in the Mega Evolution, and the Water Dark typing is really good offensively. There are not a lot of resists. Really good typing into Basculegion and King Gambit especially, and Dragon Dance sets can be quite dangerous. However, on these balanced teams, as I said before, Blastoise is the better pick, since Blastoise has a spread move in Water Spout, and spread moves are always really good, since, yeah, Gyarados has Waterfall and Crunch. I know that you can run Earthquake, but Earthquake is a non-step spread move that also hits your opponent, so it doesn't really count, while Blastoise just gets to click Water Spout for free. And that's one advantage of Blastoise. The other advantage is that it also is more dangerous even without the Shell Smash, while Gyarados without the Dragon Dance, Waterfall and Crunch are only 80 base power, which is a little sad. But I still think that Mega Gyarados has the potential to top cut Worlds, similar to Charizard Y, which is why I'm putting it at this tier. Next up, we've got Vileplume, and Vileplume is another Pokemon that was added in Regulation MB. It's a funny tool because with Chlorophyll, if you run max speed, you just barely outspeed Mega Aerodactyl, the fastest Pokemon in the game, if you exclude Choice Scarf Pokemon. And if you pair it, it's like similar to Venusaur in a way of like typing and ability. The advantage that Vileplume has over Venusaur is not just a budget Venusaur, is that it learns after you. So you can pair it with something like Torkoal, and then your Torkoal, you click after you on your Torkoal, and then you have a very fast, strong Eruption with your Torkoal. It also gets Sneak Powder, Solar Beam, Sludge Bomb, just the same stuff as Venusaur. The only advantage is after you, and in my opinion, Torkoal plus Vileplume isn't the most dangerous core. It doesn't nowhere come close to Lilycoal, which was the duo of Lilligant and Torkoal. Lilligant had the advantage that it was just much faster than Vileplume, which also allowed for Lilligant plus other leads, and then you can also after you your other leads. If you run it with Trick Room, you can after you Trick Room as well. So if you run like Vileplume plus Torkoal, just for you as a reminder, you can click after you and then have not priority Trick Room, but like faster Trick Room, and not like -7 priority Trick Room. And then your Vileplume might faint, or your Farigiraf might faint. For example, if your Farigiraf is threatened of a knockout by something like Black Glasses King Gambit, you can still click after you Trick Room, you get the Trick Room up, then your Farigiraf faints, and then you have Torkoal in Trick Room. But then you also have Vileplume in Trick Room in the sun, which is bad. But just as a reminder that it's possible. Mega Gengar. Am I a fool if I'm putting it below Blastoise? It's so funny in like MA. Everybody was saying, oh, Gengar, top 3 Pokemon, top 3 Megas for sure. And then it didn't really have the performances. It still won the regional in Turin, shout out to Marco Fierro. But then at NAIC, it fell off entirely. I don't think there was a single Gengar in top cut. And after that, or like before that in Indianapolis, Gengar wasn't very popular either. And it's not about popularity. Like if this was just a list of like the most popular Pokemon, what would I be doing? I'm just ranking the usage stats. So that's not what this is about. This is also about how good these Pokemon actually are, because the most used Mon is not necessarily the best Pokemon in the meta game. I think you understand that. However, Gengar is a Pokemon that doesn't see much play, but the top players still perform with it. Eduardo Cunha, who has been playing Gengar since day one, super strong on it. As I just said, Marco has had a regional win and also another really good online tournament result with Mega Gengar. I've been playing Mega Gengar quite a lot without Perish Song. It was a disabled set and I was able to get top 8 in a 6,000 player tournament. So Gengar is not bad. What's holding it back is all the Pokemon that are popular. Gengar does not like these, because Basculegion, Garchomp, and Kingambit all match up well into Gengar. Basculegion is tricky because it depends on the Basculegion set, but with speed control and a lot of damage, Basculegion can be a tricky one. Zardwai has a lot of special defense and just threatens you with a Weather Ball. You can survive it, especially if you invest a little bit into special defense, but yeah, trapping is still giga good, which is why I would not put it lower than this. But Blastoise, maybe it's recency bias, but Blastoise has been performing better as of lately. Then we've got Mega Kangaskhan, or like Base Kangaskhan first. Base Kangaskhan can run Life Orb, or like Silk Scarf with Fake Out Last Resort. A Pokemon that sees a lot of play on Trick Room based teams, because it not just enables Fake Out plus Trick Room, but it's a Fake Out that also hits Ghost types because of Scrappy. It's also immune to Intimidate, which makes it a very dangerous Pokemon. I think B tier is like valid for it, but the problem still is Kangaskhan's stats aren't extraordinary. It's just still a mediocre Pokemon stat-wise. The moves are cool: Fake Out, Double Edge, Hammer Arm. I'm a little bit talking about Mega Kangaskhan as well. The problem that Mega Kangaskhan has is once you Mega Evolve, Ghost types are actually quite a big threat, unless you run something like Crunch or Sucker Punch. But then you have this 4 move slot syndrome, because you really want Ice Punch, not just for Garchomp, but it's also a great move into Aerodactyl. So you have Ice Punch, you have Fake Out, you want a fighting move for Kingambit and Chaludon, you want a stronger normal type step like Double Edge, then you want Sucker Punch, and you can't fit all. And that's the small problem Mega Kangaskhan has. I would still prefer it over Base Kangaskhan, but I don't think it's like top tier character. It's still strong. It it just provides something very unique with like Scrappy Fake Out. Lopunny does as well, funnily enough, but Mega Kangaskhan is still, even though it got nerfed like crazy, it's still a strong Pokemon, and I would not ignore it totally. Then we've got Snorlax, and Snorlax, it just performs lately. You might think of Entrainment Fissure strats with Halucha Snorlax, but that's not what I'm talking about. Lately, Snorlax has been used as of a Yawn Pokemon that just is this very tanky Pokemon. With Thick Fat, it's very good into Charizard. It has a really good HP and Spadef base, so it can take hits from Floette as well. Having a normal type is never bad against Basque Legion for like Last Respects endgames if they are Choice Scarf. And Snorlax is mainly paired nowadays with either Toxapex, where you just click Infestation plus Yawn, you trap your opponent, and then next turn you can tag, they fall asleep, and then you play from there. Or you paired with Gengar, which just doesn't click Infestation but also traps your opponent. Yawn, just a very strong move in general. You have Fissure, for what it's worth, can also swing some games in your favor. It's still just a Snorlax. I would definitely see it over Vileplume. Do I see it over Kang and Zard? As of lately, I would say yes, yeah. It's a Pokemon that fits on some teams. I have seen it a lot on Parish teams lately with Gengar because of Yawn. And it also it has like this very good, as I said, typing with only one weakness of fighting. The only relevant fighting type, I guess we have Blaziken now, but Blaziken is not super relevant. Mega Staraptor, it's just Sneasel pretty much. Annihilate, I don't know. But since there are not a lot of fighting types, Snorlax typing of Mono Normal is not bad in the current meta game. Then we've got Aerodactyl, and base Aerodactyl is good. It is good for sure. I think it's around Mega Venusaur level. It won the last big online tournament. Marco Silva used Focus Sash Aerodactyl. It has a really good speed tier of 200 speed, and it provides a lot of support with Tailwind, Wild Guard. Sometimes people play base or like Mega Aerodactyl, but use it as a base because they have a secondary Mega. So that also showcases how strong base Aerodactyl can be. Rock typing is good. Just one of the like if Zard is the best Pokemon, then Aerodactyl definitely has a place as a Pokemon that's really good into Charizard. Fast Rock Slide can also steal games. We all know it. We've all been there. So that's why I think Aerodactyl is not bad. Mega Aerodactyl, A+. Speed tier, unmatched. Definitely unmatched. It also outspeeds some Choice Scarf Pokemon such as Basque Legion. It is just so dangerous as well. With Tough Claws Dual Wing Beat, it deals a lot of damage. Rock Slide is not just a flinch button, it also is quite threatening. You can run Ice Fang to threaten Garchomp. You can run White Guard still on a Mega Aerodactyl as a supporting option. It's not priority Tailwind, but you gotta think about it. Even though it's not priority Tailwind, it's like a very fast Tailwind that beats all the priority Tailwind setters. Talonflame, get Rock-Sided. Whimsicott, get Dual Wing Beated. So, yeah, Aerodactyl, really dangerous. Also, it just has very good bulk for such a fast Pokemon. It can take some super effective moves as well, like Life Orb Aqua Jet from Basque Legion. Sometimes people are EV'd for Iron Head from Max Attack King Gambit, which is somewhat crazy. It survives Blizzard from Mega Frostlass. That's just how good Aerodactyl is, and people are not sleeping on it, people are using it, but I still don't think Aerodactyl has met its full potential. I mean, in Reg MA, Mega Aerodactyl won NAIC, it finished second at NAIC as well, so what more? What is there more to say? And it's another Pokemon, by the way, that matches into this Zard-Venu combination. That's always a combination you gotta keep in mind when building a team. You don't just wanna lead or like lose to Sleep Powder Heatwave. Shoutouts to Arsal Puri, who won Indianapolis Regional with that devastating combination. when we've got Dragonite, base Dragonite and Mega Dragonite play super differently. So let me talk about base Dragonite first. Base Dragonite, physical stat, Dragon Claw, Extreme Speed, Fire Punch, Protect. I'm really glad that I was able to put Fire Punch on the map. But yeah, with Goldango, Metagross, running around, Fire Punch is quite nice. Also good into Whimsicott. You can still run Low Kick as well if you really need the one-hit KO against King Gambit or against Tyranitar. So there are a lot of options. You can also run Scale Shot. I've seen Scale Shot Dragonite as well. It's a little inconsistent though because you never know how many hits you get, but it can also be very strong if you get a lot of hits. Tailwind can be used as well. As of items, Dragon Fang is the most popular one, but Lumberry is also used occasionally, because with Lumberry, this is another Pokemon that's good into Zadvinu. Also, you don't care about Zap Cannon Para from Raichu, you don't care about Will-O-Wisp or Machagotcha Burns. Well, you still do care, because once your berry is consumed, then you can get burned afterwards, but you know what I mean. So base Dragonite, I feel like, is around 90th level, maybe below Arcanine now that I think about it, because it's still really hard to fit and its typing isn't great defensively. Fairy weakness, Dragon weakness, 4x Ice weakness and Rock weakness in the current meta game, a little bit too much. But its typing can also be nice against Zard, against Basculegion, against Blastoise, but it also doesn't do that much damage back with only 80 base power Dragon Claw. So that's something you also gotta keep in mind. I also do not know how long this video is going to be, hopefully not too long. I will try to keep it under 2 hours. This is not going to happen. We've got Mega Dragonite next, and Mega Dragonite, it just has incredible stats. Often used as a Tailwind Pokemon, but not always. Sometimes you can also run like 3 attacks with Dragon Pulse, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt. I've seen Hurricane obviously as well. Extreme Speed, even on Special Dragonite, or like Mega Dragonite, which loses a bit of attack. Extreme Speed is still a very strong priority move. Really nice to have against Focus Sash targets such as Sneasel or Whimsicott. And some chip damage is never bad. So I think Mega Dragonite, am I putting it over Raichu? Because funnily enough, recently Raichu had better results than Dragonite. This doesn't mean that I would say that Raichu is necessarily the better Pokemon, because it's a new regulation. Okay, it isn't that new anymore because it's already 4 weeks old now, almost 4 weeks old. We can still call it new regulation, but people were experimenting with the new stuff a little bit. But I think Dragonite is still quite a dangerous threat. I would put it over Venusaur. Like, deadass, people are writing Dragonite off, and they really shouldn't, especially with the drop of Frostlass. Frostlass was super popular in Reg MA. Nowadays it dropped off quite a bit, and that was one of the main targets or main enemies that Dragonite had. So it benefits from the current developments of the meta game. And that's something you should also keep in mind and also consider when you build a team around Mega Dragonite. Take advantage of the current meta trends. Then we've got Mega Scizor, and Mega Scizor unfortunately doesn't hold up anymore. The problem, I think it's still better than these guys, and it should be in B tier, honestly. The problem for Mega Scizor is it really wants to play on Rain, but it just gets outclassed by Metagross mainly, because many players run Mega Metagross instead of Mega Scizor on Rain right now. Why is that? First of all, it doesn't get intimidated pre-Mega, so it automatically has a better matchup into the Fire type, main Fire type, Incineroar. I know Scizor is another main Fire type, not Scizor, Charizard. But that leads to my next point. Metagross is faster than Charizard, can threaten it with a strong Psychic Fangs. Meanwhile, Scizor Bullet Punch. So there are a lot of reasons why Scizor gets outclassed, which is why I'm putting it in B-, because outside of Rain we haven't really seen Scizor that much, and there are a lot of fire not just fire type Pokemon, also fire type moves in general. I just said Fire Punch Dragonite, Flamethrower on the Mega Dragonite, and even if you don't face a fire type Pokemon, it's just a little bit too weak. Even though the stats don't show it, its moves, even boosted by Technician, it's just a Bullet Punch. It's just a Bullet Punch. It's not a Flare Blitz. You know what I mean? Bullet Punch, 60 base power. Even with Stab, you only get to 90 base power. That's not really cutting it. It's like running a non-stab Flamethrower on a Pokemon. You gotta keep that in mind. Bullet Punch isn't as strong as it seems. It's from the sheer power, not like stats and investment and blah blah blah. It's a non-stab Flamethrower. Hello? So we gotta face the facts that Gyarados is better than Scizor. Sorry, Scizor. You will have your time when Xerneas comes back or something. I don't know. Then we've got Politoed. Politoed is a decent range setter. It's a really good Pokemon on Perish type teams, because a lot of Perish teams feature Politoed and Archaludon. It's a secondary Perish Zone Pokemon. It provides Anchor support, which is really good for Gengar, because sometimes your Gengar gets like hit or not hit, you can avoid it getting hit by a Sucker Punch from Kingambit, but then you can Anchor them and then just stall them out with Perish Song. So that's pretty cool. And also it can run Hypnosis as well. Hypnosis Politoed had a really deep run in Japan Nationals, and generally, why run Politoed over Pelipper? It's simple. It just has more bulk, and also the mono water typing isn't necessarily better. It isn't worse. You just don't have a rock weakness. You don't have a 4 times electric weakness for what it's worth. And as I said, Anchor support is quite nice, and obviously the main aspect is that it gets Perish Song. And Politoed is a Pokemon that should probably only be played if you pair it with Perish Song, or not necessarily with Perish Song, but with a Perish mode. Your team doesn't have to fully rely on Perish Song, but Politoed can fit in there the best, in my opinion. Then we've got first base Tyranitar, just base Tyranitar. It's Choice Scarf Tyranitar or Focus Sash. Problem with Tyranitar generally is, that's the same problem for Mega Tyranitar, its typing is really bad. Have you realized how many weaknesses Tyranitar has? I will try to count them out of my head. We have Fairy, Bug, 4 times fighting weakness, water, ground, steel. Have I missed something? That's already 6 weaknesses, which is quite a lot. And I might have missed a weakness or 2. It's tough. It's tough. Since having that many common weaknesses, it's like, I guess Bug is not common at all. But it's not like you have a poison weakness, because poison, other than Venusaur and Gengar, really uncommon. But what I want to say is that Tita, with Choice Scarf, it's a cool Pokemon on ladder. It can catch some players off guard. You can Ice Punch a Garchomp. You can knock off a Basculegion on surprise. But in official tournament play, it doesn't see that much play. Which is why I am putting it in B-. Mega Tyranitar, I don't like it. I really liked the Sand team I played, but that's mainly because of Mega Venusaur. Mega Tyranitar, it's not a bad Pokemon. It still has stats. And it's one of the best Pokemon into Charizard. However, I have problems with it. Its speed here isn't bad, and it still has some results, not that many. I think it's still fair to put it in A, or should I put it in A-? I like D-Knight a little more, honestly. Just because Tyranitar feels lacking. It doesn't have that much damage. Once again, it's a problem of its moves being so weak. Knockoff, if the opponent has an item, quite strong, but if you hit into a Mega Pokemon, only 65 base power. Spread Rock Slide, it's probably the strongest Rock Slide we have. Is there a stronger Rock Slide user than Mega Tyranitar? Probably not, but in the end it's still spread Rock Slide. And yeah, I have never really struggled against Mega Tyranitar when playing against it, so I still don't want to put it lower than this, because if I put it lower than that, the comment section will be angry, so let's keep it at that. Then we've got Base Blaziken. Base Blaziken with Focus Sash and Coaching is kind of funny because you can pair it with a Mega. That's like the advantage of running Base Blaziken instead of Mega Blaziken. You can run like Blaziken plus Mega Metagross, and then you coach your Mega Metagross. And with Speed Boost plus Coaching, you can ensure to get those off. However, I'm not the biggest fan. I feel like it's quite exploitable. Its stats aren't great, but I would say it's better than Ninetales. Mega Blaziken, slightly better, has a different role it fulfills. Instead of using it as a coaching Pokemon, many players are using it with 3 attacks, Flare Blitz, Close Combat, Rock Slide, Protect. Rock Slide is not just here for, oh, Speed Boost and then Flinchy Flinch. It's the best move it has into Charizard. Its 2 steps are not good into Charizard, so it makes a lot of sense to run Rock Slide. Also, it's a move into Dragonite, it's a move into Gyarados, so all those Pokemon that resist both steps do not like facing Rock Slide. There's Delphox, there's Talonflame, I guess Primarina and Toxapex do not really count, but you know what I mean, right? So that's pretty cool. I feel like it sees more play than most of these Megas here. And it's dangerous. I have played against a Mega Blaziken, and I was quite surprised on how much damage it dealt. I was using Bolt Floette, and I think -1 Flare Blitz dealt like 60%, which was, frankly speaking, insane. And other than that, it's just, you gotta keep it in mind, it's somewhat killing itself with moves like Flare Blitz and Close Combat, Recoil, lowering its defenses. So the bulk is somewhat whatever, but it also has a nice typing into stuff like Kingambit or Charizard, since Charizard doesn't run a flying move usually. So that's another advantage for Blaziken, so I would not rule it out. But nah, it's not better than D-Knight. It's also not better than... Yeah, I will put it here. Then we've got Swampert, and gosh, I hate Swampert. I think Swampert is bait. I have, like, people use it. It has so much usage, but I cannot play with it myself, and I never lose against it. It's such a bait. I don't know. But it's still strong. I gotta be honest with that. Wave Crash in the Rain, superb. You have Ice Punch for grass types, you have Earthquake for spread damage, and also just a really strong move in general. Some players play High Horsepower instead of Earthquake because it deals even more damage, and when you don't have like this anti-synergy of having like Swampert next to a Chaludon and suddenly you cannot click a ground move anymore. Some players also run Flip Turn, which is pretty cool to not just get reposition, but you can also self-flip turn your Archaludon, get a defense boost, get a Pelipper in, stuff like that. With flip turn, like the Swampert Archaludon lead is very potent, for example. But it's Swampert. Do I think, like, according to the usage sets, it's probably an A tier Pokemon, but for me, it's not better than Dragonite. I will still put it here because this tier list is also supposed to be at least a little bit objective. I said in the beginning this is a subjective tier list, but if this would be a subjective tier list, I would put Swampert in C. You understand Swampert in C? Like C? Okay, shut up. Let's continue. Sceptile. I'm a Sceptile believer. I played with Sceptile. It was really good. It outspeeds Scarf Basket Legion. Speed here is really good, 145 base speed. I mean, if Victor Medina has a really strong tournament one with Mega Beedrill, why should Mega Sceptile with the same speed tier not be just as good? Because Sceptile is just better than Beedrill. I've also seen some players use it with like Rotom Heat, Discharge strats with Lightning Rod. That's pretty cool as well. So I think Sceptile, it doesn't perform that well, especially in Open Team Sheet. It didn't really have a result yet. However, what can I say like positively about it? It can be nice into Blastoise until you just get Fake Out of a Shell Smash and then you get Dark Pulse next turn. Yeah, Sceptile has it rough, if we're being honest, but I think it's better than Ninetales still. Ninetales is holding up the bottom. Next up we have Pelipper. Pelipper is another Shitmon that provides an entire archetype. Why is it a Shitmon? Look at its stats and you will understand. It has some nice tools. It obviously brings the rain with Drizzle. It has Tyrant, it has Wild Guard. It can also deal incredible damage with Life Orb as well. Water Flying is generally very oppressive offensively. Its stats are so bad, bro. Its stats are so bad. And I'm saying that I want a regional with Pelipper. Can you imagine? It's better than Politoed. Like, the problem is you can't compare these. Because, yes, they both have Drizzle, but they work on completely different archetypes, pretty much. So comparing these two is a foolish attempt. But if I take a look at the other Pokemon as a weather setter and because of usage, I gotta put it in A-, but I will not put it over Aerodactyl, I think. That feels pretty good. Next we've got Gardevoir. You know, I don't know why, but lately I've always been associating Gardevoir with Tola Web. Maybe because he was running Gardevoir all of Reg MA. Interesting enough, the best player in NAIC running Gardevoir was Chris Large, and he was not running the standard 2-attacks Trick Room Gardevoir. He was running a Calm Mind Gardevoir instead, which is a very unique approach. Right now I would probably benefit, or like I would say that the Trick Room set is better than the Calm Mind set. However, yeah, there's always this debate. Why run Gardevoir over Floette? Gardevoir is quite nice because of Trick Room. And it can also abuse opposing Fairy Aura and have some super strong Hyper Voice. Its Hyper Voice is also stronger than the Dazzling Gleam from Floette. So if you compare the spread moves, that's quite interesting. Also, with Psyshock, it has a way to remove Pokemon that are otherwise dangerous for Floette, such as poison types, as well as something like Charizard Y. Still, Gardevoir takes a lot of effort, I believe, to make it work. I think it's not a bad Pokemon. Whenever I play against it, it is a threat. You cannot one-hit KO it with most moves, because usually they invest a lot into bulk, since it is a Trick Room Pokemon, which is paired with Tailwind Pokemon, so it can go the slow route, but it can also be very dangerous in Tailwind. And like Tailwind teams are very popular, mainly Eric Rios' NAIC team, the one with Aerodactyl and Farigiraf, was so good because it has this mode of Tailwind and Trick Room, and that's what I like about Gardevoir as well. I think it's better than Kangaskhan for sure. I think it's B+ a little too high, maybe, but I wouldn't say so. I think it's definitely, it deserves recognition, so I'm putting it here. Torkoal. Torkoal. It's not easy to use Torkoal. It mainly works. You can use it in two ways. You can use it as a Trick Room sweeper. Usually it is paired with Farigiraf, but it also has this mode where it supports Venusaur, it supports Pyro by just setting the sun, and also sometimes running Helping Hand as well to boost the damage output even further. So you either have Trick Room and then Torkoal is really good, or you have Torkoal outside of Trick Room, which works as a supportive piece, which it makes it better than Ninetales for sure. It's quite dangerous. It can override all types of weather, which is also pretty cool. and it's like decently bulky, right? It's because it's so slow. It has a few other stats going for it. It's not a big meta threat, however. I'm not putting it over D-Knight. I will put it over here. I think B tier is fine for Torkoal. Sableye. Sableye, don't get it twisted. As I said, this tier list is mainly about best of 3. And Sableye is a best of 1 demon. Because you don't know. Reflect, Light Screen, Fake Out, Quash, Anchor, Disable, Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, Rain Dance, Sunny Day, Foul Play, probably even more. But those were already like 10 moves, right? You don't know what it's gonna pack. And that's what makes it so threatening. In Open Team Sheet, it's a little worse. It's still not bad, because the priority Rain Dance just shuts down a lot of Zardwai approaches. You can also use priority Sunny Day for the same reason. I think it gets Sunny Day. I hope I'm not mistaken with that. And screens are also good. I mean, we have seen Grimmsnarl perform well, but Sableye has like way worse stats than Grimmsnarl, but it has the advantage that it is immune to Fake Out. Because I realized when I played with Grimmsnarl, whenever you are up against an Incineroar, you don't like to lead Grimmsnarl because they Fake Out that slot and click Heatwave with a Charizard, and suddenly you're like, oh, okay, my bad. Doesn't happen with Sableye though, so that's like one of the biggest advantages Sableye has. It's still just a Sableye. I think I gotta put it in B-, probably top of B-, because it's not as good in Open Team Sheet, and its stats are really lackluster, if we're being fair and honest. Next up, we've got Mawile, and Mawile, I feel like Mawile is still a little underexplored. A lot of players were experimenting with Mawile in hard Trick Room environments, and it makes sense. Mawile has a speed tier of 50, so it really likes to be in Trick Room. Still, I also used Mega Mawile without Trick Room. Shoutouts to the Sinistra, Melodic, Soul Edge team once again. Where where Mawile was used as a Sword Stance Pokemon. I feel like if you run it on Trick Room teams, you can also run Sword Stance, but you rather want to use the Trick Room turns and not click Sword Stance and like waste a turn doing that. And there you mainly run Play Rough. Play Rough, really strong move on Mawile. You run Sucker Punch as a priority move, Protect to reposition yourself, and Rock Slide actually. Not just do you have like a fast Rock Slide in Trick Room, but it's also really good into the Fire Mons. Play Rough is strong against something like Incineroar, but if you run Iron Head, Play Rough, Sucker Punch, you cannot hit Delphox clicking Nasty Plot, for example. Yes, you have Sucker Punch, but they can just stall you out that way. You have no way of dealing good damage into Charizard. To be fair, even resisted Play Rough is like decent damage, but you know what I mean, once again. So Mawile, my opinion, A tier. Is it A tier? It's still like it. People are using it more than Dragonite, but it doesn't have the results. I like it more than Swampert. That's my reasoning. I think Mawile, it's not a top tier threat. It is a threat because of its sheer damage, but positioning Mawile can be quite tough since you want to run Intimidate so that you can switch it in a little more nicely, but then again, there are a few Pokemon that abuse Intimidate, such as Kingambit or Milotic, so you want to run Hyper Cutter, which also helps against opposing Intimidate, but then it's harder to like switch it in, because base Mawile has so terrible stats. It's just carried by huge power. And the reason that it didn't gain any speed in its Mega, because if it gained like 10 speed, I feel like it would be worse because it would have lost like 10 somewhere else, and this way it works even better in Trick Room, right? So yeah, good job Mawile. I think you are like, you are not the biggest meta threat, but people still have to respect you nonetheless. I do respect you. Camerupt. In my last stream, I played Camerupt, and it wasn't bad, but it felt weird. Because K-Rob is a mega that only works on Trick Room teams, and getting a Trick Room up, maybe it's because I played close team sheet ladder, but K-Rob is so hard to position correctly. A lot of main weaknesses, with 4 times water weakness is super tough, but it also has a ground weakness, which in the current meta game is like, other than that, I feel like it doesn't have any more weaknesses, right? Like, it doesn't have a rock weakness, it doesn't have an ice weakness, so at least that's something. But it also doesn't get any OKOs, I feel like. Well, I guess it OKOs Incineroar with Earth Power, it OKOs King Ember with Heat Wave, but for neutral hits. And if you have, like Mega Morwai, for example, OKOs a few things with neutral play rough. And that's what I don't like about Camerupt. Also, its spread move Heat Wave. I do not like Eruption, I will tell you that much. And Heat Wave can miss. It's weird. I don't like it that much. I'll put it over here. I don't think it's gonna perform well. Other than the one top 32 in the last big online tournament, I think K-Rob didn't really have any results, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Then we have Milotic. I really like Milotic. I think on the team I featured, it was like the centerpiece, and it's just so dangerous with Coil Hypnosis, super annoying to play against. Competitive, great ability. There's so much Intimidate running around. How many Intimidate users do we have? A little bit too many. And that alone is just really good. Its typing, incredible. Because you gotta keep in mind, I already talked about the lack of offensive electric types. There's also a lack of offensive grass types. Because we have Venusaur. Sceptile is like somewhat fake. What else do we have? Whimsicott is not offensive. Sinistra, Scovillain, a Boma Snow. Like, as you can see, it's really lackluster when it comes to offensive grass types. So Milotic, I'm not saying that it doesn't have no weaknesses, but it doesn't have any weaknesses, that's what I meant to say. It still can also shrug off a few super effective hits, and it's always a dangerous Pokemon, and in my opinion deserves a spot in B+. B+ for sure, maybe even A-. But I think I would put it in top of B+ for now. It's just so good. Since Muddy Water can also swing some games in your favor if you get accuracy drops, as long as those accuracy drops are not in King Gambit, because funny interaction, not that funny if you're the Milotic player. If you click Muddy Water and raise their Defiant, you can also not hope for a miss. You can hope for a miss on Sucker Punch and Iron Head, but Counter Cleave never misses. It has unlimited accuracy, so yeah, give them a boost for free, and then they do a lot of damage with Counter Cleave. A little scary. Mega Metagross. Mega Metagross was one of the most hyped Pokemon when it lost Heavy Slam, and it was still quite hyped. It doesn't live up to its hype, though. It's better than Morwile, it's better than Venu. Is it better than Gengar? It's tough. You have a lot of moves you can run on Mega Metagross. Protect is one of them. Bullet Punch is a nice priority. Meteor Mash and Iron Head are like the main steel steps. You have Psychic Fangs. As of, like, for coverage, you have Ice Punch for Garchomp, Body Press or Hammer Arm for King Gambit, Incineroar. You have Stomping Tantrum as well for Incineroar and other steel types. Like opposing Metagross, for example. Figuring out the best moveset, like if you ask me in the comments, what is the best Metagross moveset? I can't tell you. It depends on your team. If your team doesn't really struggle with steel types, you should probably not run a Stomping Tantrum, because its main application is hitting opposing steel types. But yeah, I think Mega Gengar still outclasses Metagross. Blastoise also, as of right now, outclasses Metagross. Mega Blastoise could also be A+ tier at this point, but I think I will keep it at that. Mega Metagross, the cool interaction is that you have Clear Body pre-Mega, so even if they switch into Incineroar, return you Mega Evolve, you still keep Clear Body before you Mega, right? So you don't get the attack drop, which is pretty cool, all things considered. Then we've got Base Staraptor. Base Staraptor, totally different Pokemon than Mega Staraptor. Base Staraptor, probably only one set that is being played on it. It's Choice Scarf with Final Gambit on hard Trick Room teams. Because it's the best Final Gambit Pokemon we have right now. It provides Intimidate support, so that you can set up Trick Room a little nicer. It just gets abused quite easily, because if your opponent clicks Protect on the target you clicked Final Gambit on, and you click Trick Room, suddenly you have a Staraptor with Choice Scarf in Trick Room. Or if they switch into a Ghost type, they don't really have to Protect, because Final Gambit... Maybe it would be better for Staraptor if you still get off the Final Gambit. Even if you do 0 HP damage, you get a free swap into one of your Trick Room sweepers. And that's what the main idea is. You have Staraptor and Farigiraf, you click Final Gambit, Trick Room, and then you start blowing things up with, I don't know, Eruption, Torkoal, for example. It also is quite strong. If you run Reckless, for example, these Brave Birds do hurt quite a bit. Dual Wing Beat is cool to remove a lot of Sash Pokemon such as Whimsicott, Sneasel, and Vivillon. But yeah, it's very, very obvious what it's gonna do. I think Hard Trick Room really appreciates its presence though, so I'm putting it in B-. It's like Sableye type of level, maybe a little worse. Then we've got Mega Staraptor, and Mega Staraptor might be one of the biggest early meta baits. It's not a bad Pokemon, but once again, you just run Brave Bird Close Combat, and then what? You can run Roost, self-targeting strategies. I don't like them that much, because yes, you can click like Fake Tears, Charm, Tickle, I don't know what, on your own Staraptor, but then one, you waste a move doing that. Second, Staraptor only has like single target attacks, so it's not like you're clicking, I don't know, Eerie Impulse Eruption, for example. Then Staraptor pre-Mega Staraptor just gets intimidated. Even if you want to Mega immediately, they can still swap in the Incineroar to get an Intimidate off before you Mega. Then you are very susceptible to Fake Out. Self-targeting strategies do not really work against Redirection. I guess like something like Whimsicott can ignore the Redirection from Sinistcha because it's a Grass type. But you know, there are like a lot of problems with this type of play. I know that it worked in the beginning, before anyone knew what was really going on. Now that everyone knows, it's not that good anymore. It's not bad either. Its typing is good and it hurts quite a bit. Stats are like okay. It's still a B+ Pokemon. I know it's so funny because Milotic is in the same tier and I hyped Milotic up quite a bit, but I wanted to lower your expectations. Maybe you were thinking, oh, he's putting Mega Staraptor in A. I am not. Maybe it's A-. It's probably better than Gardevoir, Milotic, since it's just more dangerous. But it's not like broken just as everyone thought it was. Speaking of broken, Garchomp is very good. Not broken, however. S tier, clearly. It's the best ground type, it's the best dragon type. Typing is just generally great because there are not a lot of ace and fairy types. Yes, the fairy type, Floette and Whimsicott, they are very common. But still, if you pair Garchomp with something nice next to it, it's just incredible. Its speed is great, 102. It's faster than Charizard, one of the best other Pokemon. It just matches up well into the best Pokemon in the metagame. It's good into Charizard, it's good into Kingambit, it's like good into itself. It's good into non-Ice Fang Mega Aerodactyl. It's good into it can be good into Basque Legion as well, because you're faster, you deal a lot of damage. If they wave crash you, they take rough skin recoil as well. So yeah, it's good into Incineroar. It's like Incineroar is tricky because you also get intimidated, but generally Garchomp matches up very well into the entire meta game, which is why it's one of the best Pokemon. Why am I putting it below Charizard? Well, Charizard is winning everything. Garchomp is as well, which is like they are both winning everything. So yeah, Garchomp, I feel like it's more dangerous and it's more versatile. I talked about Charizard being versatile in its spreads. With Garchomp, you can experiment a little bit more with its moves. While Earthquake and Dragon Claw are quite common, you can run Stomping Tantrum, Rock Slide, Rock Tomb, Poison Jab, Protect. And item-wise, you have a lot of choice as well. We've seen Citrus Berry, Life Orb, Roselli Berry, Habam Berry, Choice Scarf. So I think Garchomp is a little more versatile, which is why I'm putting it over Charizard in the end. Garchomp Mega doesn't see a lot of play. There's like this one balanced team with Floette, Incineroar, Sneasler, Sinistra, where it is used as a coaching recipient from Sneasler. It matches up really well into opposing Sand because you can also abuse it with Sand Force. Ground Dragon, I mean, I just said it's not a bad typing, and it's still like base Garchomp at heart. The speed drop is just a little worse, and also not being able to have an item is another downside of Mega Garchomp. Before anybody asks, isn't Mega Garchomp just a straight up upgrade of base Garchomp? It's actually a downgrade. Because losing the speed isn't amazing, but you get a lot of bulk, which is cool, but it's most of the time not worth it. Nonetheless, it's a Pokemon that should be explored a little more. I've been struggling against it, and like I remember the one game where I lost against like Special Garchomp with Tyranitar. That was crazy. Is it a B+ Pokemon? Probably not, but it's a B Pokemon for sure. I could see Mega Garchomp do well at Worlds if used with like coaching Sneasler, but this combination is quite susceptible to Intimidate still, so that's something you gotta keep in mind when running. Like generally, if you run Sneasler with coaching, you rather want to also have something that punishes Intimidate, so you paired with King Gambit, but you see the problem still, right? Then we've got a Boma Snow. Oh no, not a Boma Snow. That reminds me of my last stream, and I went full crash out on my last stream. So I played both Camerupt and Boma Snow, and to me, Camerupt has felt much, much better. A Boma Snow, let me first talk about the benefits. It matches up decently into Rain, and it's a good Pokemon into Garchomp, because it's an Ice type. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Abomasnow. Other than that, it sucks! Sorry, I don't like Abomasnow. I think it's probably the worst Pokemon we had so far. Oh, Mamoswine. Mamoswine is an interesting pick, because Mamoswine, Oblivious, good ability. Priority Ice Shot, good into Garchomp, and you have a lot of interesting stuff you can do with it in the team builder. If you think about Mamoswine, you're probably thinking, oh, Earthquake, Icing Crash, Ice Shot, Protect. I just copy the Wolf Glick set. But there's more to it. I think Mamoswine can be even better. Like, not saying that this Focus Sash free attack set is bad, don't get me wrong. But I have looked at some calcs, and like, if you run Life Orb high horsepower, you one-hit KO King Gambit. You one-hit KO Incineroar, if they are not like Impish Max Death, that is. But high horsepower is a move that is a little undervalued, I feel like. Mamoswine also top cut the Champions Arena. Shohei Kimura used it, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, do not underestimate Mamoswine. It's not a meta staple. It's probably a B tier pick, maybe B+. Now that I think about it, yeah, maybe we will put it in B+, because it's rising more and more. And like, the coverage it has it's just so dangerous because ground moves, they struggle against grass, flying types. You know what its secondary step is. And ice moves struggle into fire and steel. You know what its secondary step is? So yeah, that's what makes Mamoswine so dangerous. So if used correctly, it can be really nice. Even on the Toxapex Crafty team I featured in one of my last videos, Mamoswine was really strong there as well. So I would not be surprised if Mamoswine has a deep one at Worlds. Next up we have Gallade. Gallade is another like hard tricking Pokemon, and before you ask where's Mega Gallade, Mega Gallade is worse because Gallade deals first more damage because of sharpness. Second, it does take away your Mega slot, and third, like Gallade is a Trick Room setter as well, if you want, and Mega Gallade is just too fast for Trick Room, and I wonder what like the moveset on base Gallade is supposed to be. Because you can run Trick Room, you can also run White Guard, but the problem with White Guard Gallade is that you just get blown up by by the other moves from the spread type Pokemon. Like Aerodactyl, for example, gets to click White Guard multiple times, while Gallade, it's just nice to have, but you just get blown up pretty quickly. You can run a 4 or like 3 attacks Trick Room set with Sacred Sword being the main attacking move. You can run Leaf Blade to hit Basculegion and Swampert especially. You can run Psycho Cut, you can run Night Slash, to name a few ideas. Could run Protect. Protect is always a good move. Nonetheless, it feels tricky to fit. And it's still like with 80 base speed quite fast. Item wise, Focus Sash, Life Orb. If you run Psycho Cut and Night Slash, there's the option to run Scope Lens as well to have a 50% crit ratio. And did I mention Focus Sash already? I think I did, but that's another item you can run because Gallade gets OK'd by a lot of moves. So that's also not a bad option, but I will put it below Sceptile. Forceless. I already talked about Forceless seeing less and less usage, and I'm shocked because I think Forceless is still incredibly powerful. Like if we are going per usage, I think I have to put it here. However, I won't. I think Forceless is way too underused right now. I don't understand why, because it's been top 5 or like top. Yeah, it was top 5 megas in regulation MA, right? Let me think about the top 5. There's like Floette, there's like Zard. I can't like say other megas that are clearly better than Forceless. Like Delphox was always on par with Floette. Gengar was for a few players above, but the results showed it really shouldn't have been. So what happened with Forceless that made it worse? Because Metagross, like all the ads or like the differences between MA and MB, do they not benefit Forceless? Like Life Orb got added, okay, does that make a huge impact? Probably not. And if you think about like the new Pokemon and new archetypes that got added, like the main new Pokemon all struggle against Forceless. Let's be real. Annihilate, Goldango, Metagross, they are all weak to Shadow Ball. Swampert, being able to override Rain is pretty good. And Forceless has always been a good Pokemon into Rain teams. So what is stopping Forceless from being good again? Is it the new toy syndrome that everybody wants to play with their new toys and just ignores Forceless in their team builder? I cannot tell. I genuinely cannot tell, and it's making me mad because I want you to tell what is holding Forceless back. I guess this new balanced team. Okay, I can see what is holding Forceless back. The main 3 teams, like the main team with Charizard Y, like the team that people call Big Six with Charizard Y, Floette, Basculegion, Kingambit, that one is not a great matchup for Forceless. Then the second big team, the Sylveon, like Sash Kingambit plus Mega Aerodactyl is scary, but it matches up well into like into Garchomp, into Farigiraf, but it's like 50-50 for Frostless. And then the third big team is probably Balance with like Blastoise and Delphox, and that's another problem for Frostless, because the most popular Frostless team is the one with Lycanroc, Sneasler, and Scovillain. You know which team I'm talking about, hopefully. Blastoise farms that team, so maybe that just needs new approaches for Frostless, but I think we should not write it off like people do right now. I am the first player who dies on this hill, not writing Frostless off. Then we've got Pelipper? Why would I say Pelipper to Weavile? What is going on? Anyways, Weavile, really good with like, it has the fastest fake out, pretty much. Am I missing something? It's faster than Sneasler, and that's what matters. Triple Axel can be used if you want to OKO Sash Aerodactyl, Sash. Sneasler is a roll, I believe. Sash Whimsicott, but it's quite inaccurate. You can run Upper Hand. Upper Hand is another really interesting tool that Weavile has. And I think it's a decent Pokemon. It's not a great Pokemon, but I think it's definitely B-. I feel like it's over here because this very fast fake out is just so good. Just if I think about how my balance matchups went, where I let Sneasler, my opponent let Sneasler, and the entire game came down to speed ties. With Weavile, you can play around that. And that's one advantage that Weavile has. The other one is its offensive typing. Ice Dark, really good. I mean, we already have talked about why Ice types are quite strong, but Dark types are also really good, with like the Ghost types being Basculegion, Frostless, Gengar, which are quite popular still. And yeah, I think Weavile is a Pokemon that should also not be written off completely. We've got Rotom Wash next, and Rotom Wash is washed. Rotom Wash was one of my favorite Pokemon in Rec MA, and I built a Sand team that I used to hit #1 in the champion tier with Rotom Wash, and it's been really good there, but I still don't know what it is. Nobody is performing with it. Do people just not want to risk clicking Hydro Pump? Is that what it is? I can't tell, because once again, same argument. Offensive grass types, like same argument as for Milotic. Grass types, not super popular, and it's the only weakness that Rotom Wash has. Nonetheless, its stats are like awkward. It's not super tanky because of a low base HP, but it can still take a few hits. So I would still put it in. Nah, I'm putting it in B+. Screw that. I think Rotom Wash deserves some more love. Don't you agree? Next we have Excadrill. Excadrill is such a dangerous Pokemon. It only works on sand, and should I explain why it's better than Mega Excadrill? I don't think I have to, because Sandwash is just a better ability than... Like, it's not a Piercing Drill, it's a bad ability, but Sandwash is just so much better. Also, Focus Sash is really good, so that you can take one close combat from Sneasler, a move from Garchomp, a move from Basculegion, a move from Charizard, I don't know. Its typing is good offensively. Steel Ground hits a lot of more common targets for super effective damage, and against stuff like Charizard you can also run Rock Slide. So Excadrill, definitely a Pokemon you should be wary of. The problem for Excadrill is just, as I said, I'm not the biggest Tyranitar fan, and you should not play Hippowdon. So the Sand Setters are not the greatest, but it's still a Pokemon that I think it's better than Mamoswine, honestly, but not by much. Not by much. Next we've got Whimsicott, and Whimsicott, in my opinion, has always been an A tier Pokemon, but I think I move it to A+, because I've been losing so many games to Anchor Whimsicott. It's not that I click a move and forget, oh, they could switch into Whimsicott. It's just sometimes you just click a move that feels very beneficial, and then you get anchored and suddenly your position is completely terrible. Like, you can get a KO in turn 1, in return they get a Tyrant up, and then suddenly your position gets super scrambled. You want to reposition with like protect, switch, but then next time they have anchor, so it's just such a dangerous Pokemon, even though the stats are so terrible. Which is why I feel like Whimsicott should be in the A+ tier. It doesn't feel like the most dangerous Pokemon, but its typing is also not bad into a few common Pokemon such as Basculegion and Garchomp. And as I said, fairy types are not very common, so having a fairy type that can actively threaten stuff like Garchomp is much, much appreciated. So Whimsicott, not a Pokemon I like to face, honestly. I haven't really tried it myself that much, but I definitely see its upsides, or like its benefits. Next time we have Hydreigon, and Hydreigon is another Pokemon that I believe is not bad. I think Hydreigon is also a little underused. The problem with Hydreigon is there's only like one set that's being used right now with Choice Scarf. Some players experimented with Chople and Habanberry. Its typing is tricky. Fighting and 4x Fairy and Dragon and Ice weakness are all not good to have in the current metagame. But offensive dark typing is once again super nice. That's one of the main reasons why Kingambit has been performing super well. But Hydreigon is probably just a B tier. I would still put it, not, I would put it here. I think the problem with Hydreigon is that if you want Choice Scarf, a lot of the times you have a move that you don't really want to be locked into. You click Dark Pulse, suddenly you cannot click Earth Power against Incineroar Kingambit anymore. You click Draco Meteor, well, you click Draco Meteor. You click Snarl, they switch into a physical attacker and you don't do that much damage. You understand the problem, right? You understand the problem behind Choice Scarf Hydreigon, but you also understand the problem of not running Choice Scarf Hydreigon, just getting outsped by Whimsicott, Garchomp, and just getting OKO'd, Frostlass, and all the Pokemon that are out there. Scrafty. Scrafty, I was really looking forward to Scrafty, and I really wish it had Parting Shot. I really wish it did. It works, I think, in my opinion. It should be used next to Farigiraf and not as a defensive piece. I should also recommend not using it as a setup Pokemon with Bulk Up or Dragon Dance. I think it should probably be a 4 attack set with Close Combat over Drain Punch. Take the 130 base attack to another level with Close Combat. Drain Punch is cool for recovery, but the damage is what Scrafty is good at, and with Double Intimidate you can set Trick Room with Fake Out as well, and I think it's one of the best partners for hard Trick Room teams because you can run Close Combat, Knock Off, Fake Out, and then you could run Poison Jab if you want to have a move for Whimsicott, for Sylveon. You can run Ice Punch if you want to really OKO Garchomp, even though it's not the biggest threat into Mega Scrafty itself. But I like my recommendation is run Close Combat and max attack element. Take advantage of its high base attack and good overall bulk to use Trick Room to the fullest. So I'm putting it in. Is it B-, or do I give it? Nah, I think it's better than most of. I think I'm putting it here. On next we have Delphox. And Delphox, I'm putting Delphox here, right next to Blastoise, which is funny because they are often paired together. I said before that they are on the same level, like Frostlass and Delphox. I would still say so, but Delphox gets the slight advantage because the current metagame favors it quite a bit. It's not that good into that Aerodactyl Kingambit team. However, it's really good into many Charizard teams. Levitate is pretty cool, and its speed here is phenomenal. So I do believe that Delphox is quite a threat. And if you ask me, once again, Psyshock or Psychic, Depends on your team. Psychic, good if you need the one-hit KO on Garchomp with +2. Psyshock, better into Charizard, better into opposing Delphox. If your matchup into opposing Delphox is a little scuffed, like if you run Floette plus Delphox, for example, I recommend running Psyshock instead. But Psychic can be used to deal more immediate damage into other targets such as Staraptor, for example. Vivillon is dangerous because such a fast Spore is not fun. I'm saying Spore because it has a 98% accurate Sleep Powder, which is basically Spore. With Focus Sash, it can often take a hit, not always, because dual Wing Beat, triple Axel, you know. But yeah, Vivillon, quite a dangerous Pokemon, even though the stats are horrendous. And it's only because of this fast Compound Ice Sleep Powder. It's still somewhat a niche Pokemon because I've only been seeing it on Hard Trick Room teams. We have been seeing it on like Protect the King teams in like MA as well. The team that Awashomati and Sejun Park used, for example. But yeah, it's not super strong. It's around Kangaskhan level. I would put it above Kangaskhan because it has seen more play as of late. When we have Talonflame is okay. It's not the best Tailwind setter. Obviously, Whimsicott is better, but it has a faster Tailwind for what it's worth. It can also Whimsicott with dual Wing Beat, with Sharp Beak. It finished second in a very big online tournament with Charcoal Overheat. So there are also special sets. And on ladder, it's even more dangerous because you don't know. Does it have Taunt? Does it have Quick Guard? Does it have Will-O-Wisp? Or is it maybe offensive with Life Orb, Brave Bird, Flare Blitz, Tailwind? It could have Protect. In open team sheet, it's not as dangerous, but it's still a good Tailwind setter. So it is a good B tier, I feel like, but I'm not putting it over Scrafty. Pyroar. Pyroar is so hit and miss. People are saying everything. It's terrible or it's broken. It's I feel like neither. It's just pretty mediocre. It's not bad. It's not great. It's okay. Like if you ask me, I would rather play Scrafty, but I think Pyroar is probably slightly better. Is it better than Blaziken? It had better results, right? So it's probably like here is a B plus. That would maybe I would be stretching it quite a bit if I put it B plus. But the performances speak a bit for it. I'm putting it in B. I'm sorry. Floette. I feel like Floette has been falling off, so is it okay to put it in A+? It's still like one of the megas on the biggest team or like the most popular team, but people have been dropping it on balance and instead favor Blastoise and Delphox over Floette. There are also balanced teams still with Floette. Why is Floette a little worse than it used to be? I feel like the answer is simple. There's even more Charizard now, a Pokemon that Floette doesn't like to face. Same goes for Delphox. And also a few of the Pokemon that got added are just really good into it. And Mawile, Metagross. So yeah, that's the main reason why Floette isn't as good anymore. Is it an S tier Pokemon? I don't think it is. I honestly don't think it is. You can disagree, but I mean, if you agree with my entire list, you are a little crazy for that. But yeah, I think Floette has a better place right there. Sylveon. Sylveon is for sure an A tier. Where exactly do I put it though? Because it's been performing really well. It has won many events. It has won NAIC. It has won the Arena of Champions we had last weekend. It has won Joe UX9 won the St. Jude tournament as well with it, right? And Sylveon has been really killing it lately. I don't think it's better than like Frostless, but like it's around the same level as Gengar, I think. Um, it's just so dangerous. Once again, like fairy moves are super strong, and it's just I would not just call it a budget Floette. Like many people compare because you have Dazzling Gleam and Hyper Voice, you have like Light of Wind and Hyper Beam, but they play a little bit different, in my opinion. Because with Sylveon, it's more about trading damage, while with Floette, it's more about getting like crucial knockouts if you click Light of Wind, which is also some sort of trading. But Floette is more of an early game opener if you run like the Dazzling Gleam, Moonblast, Light of Wind set. I rarely see people use that set as a back Pokemon, which is funny. While Sylveon often is like a late game cleaner. This is like the main differences between these two Pokemon in my opinion. But I think that spot is quite good for it. Incin. Ooh, Incin. I think Incin is A+. Probably over Arrow. Just because it's everywhere. It fits like on the big 6 team. You can make a variation with Incineroar instead. There's like this Eric Rio's team that also has Incineroar instead. I guess Marco Fierro's team is very similar to Eric Rio's team with Incineroar. Then all the balanced teams have Incineroar. Like it's your cat. What should I tell? Like, you know what Incineroar does. I think it just very strong. Its typing is quite good into the meta game as well, pairing really nicely into Delphox, Frostless, Zard, and Intimidate is quite good, especially because it's an Intimidate Pokemon that has a good typing into Kingambit, so you can throw in Incineroar into Kingambit sometimes. Not always recommended, but you can still do that. It's better than some other Intimidate Pokemon that would just get OKO by Kingambit, right? And that's one of the benefits that Incineroar has. And before anybody asks again, Photoshop or Darkest Lariat, depends. If your team is quite weak to like bulk up Several Edge, you should definitely consider running Darkest Lariat. It also gets around defense boost from like Milotic or Stamina Chaludon. Photoshop is good if you really want to block Parting Shot from your opposing Incineroar. That is also very valid. And if you run Photoshop, you should also run a bit of speed, obviously. I don't like Photoshop and no speed because that ruins the purpose of running Photoshop, right? So yeah, just keep that in mind. Primarina. Primarina is a Pokemon I did not have on the list originally. And then I saw, like I checked the in-game ladder and I saw that it was like one of the most, like it was in the top 40 Pokemon used. And then I checked like the Showdown ladder because there are also usage stats that I got. And it's also top 40 event. I'm like, I never really see Primarina. But I guess I have to put it on the list. So that's why it's on the list. There are like some Parish teams that have Primarina instead of Politoed, I guess. It also learns Parish Song. It's a water fairy type. So its typing is not bad into Garchomp, into Kingambit. It's like, it's alright. It's a fairy type again. I don't think it's like super good. But it's a better than Weavile. This is where I'm looking at right now. Yeah, it's around Weavile level. It's not much better than that. I don't see it. People play it, but I never see it, and it also doesn't perform in tournaments. So maybe it, nah. Lycanroc Dusk. Lycanroc Dusk fell quite a bit, or fell off quite a bit because of the addition of all the new steel types. It's still really good into Charizard, and as long as Charizard remains supreme, Lycanroc will always have a niche as well. Is it, like, it is not bad. It's always quite dangerous. I think it's better than all of B. So I'm putting it over here. Yeah, that looks like a good spot. Priority like a Cell Walk is nice, but also having access to close combat for stuff like Kingambit is also really good. And you might say, wait, you just said Steel types got added? Isn't close combat that good into it? The Steel types that got added are Goldengo, Metagross, and Mawile. So make out of that what you want. Also, a few intimidators got added in Mawile. It's the Raptor, so that's another drawback or like downfall for Lycanroc. Toxapex. I think Toxapex is genuinely not bad. It's not just there to like stall games, it also progresses games in a certain way with infestation, with trapping. Also, Toxic is a good form of progress against balanced teams as well, because you click Toxic, suddenly they are on a timer, so they cannot like fake out, protect, shell smash, protect, switch to Sinister, live view. Like they are on a timer, and that's pretty good. So yeah, Toxapex definitely a threat to some extent. Is it B plus? It might be. I think it's not as niche as like Lycanroc or Mamoswine. It also is better than Rotom Watch lately. So I think I'm putting Pex over here. Maybe Raichu is a little high thinking about it, so I would move Raichu down a little bit. But I think Pex is worth considering. Similar to Milotic, a bulky water type that is just super annoying to play against. Como-O, somewhat dead. I don't know. What again? A Pokemon that, according to usage stats, is played. I don't really see it. It's still not terrible into Charizard. It's not bad into Incineroar. Also, since a few Sylveon are dropping Hyper Beam in favor of Yawn, Como-O has a great time with Soundproof into Sylveon. There's still Quick Attack, you should not ignore that, but it doesn't deal as much damage. The downfall of Como-O can be explained in multiple ways. The addition of, once again, Metagross, Mawile, and Goldango is quite bad for it, and the meta developments are also not that good for it. Also, the addition of Life Orb, that way Garchomp with Dragon Claw, even if you like intimidate it, it still deals enough damage that you cannot just click Clanguis Soul for free. And all of that just really hinders Como-O from performing that well. Unfortunate for it. Maybe it's for the better. Also, the addition of Grimmsnarl is not good for it either. So yeah, I feel like it should not be ruled out completely, but yeah, I would be surprised if Como does well. But it also won a regional in Reg MA, it won Turin special event, so that's why I'm saying you should not rule it out. Next we have Corviknight, and Corviknight is not bad. Mirror Armor, there are a lot of things Corviknight can do: Taunt, Bulk Up, Tailwind. Iron Defense with Body Press is a niche as well. You can also run Protect. Like, I really liked the moveset that Michael Zhang ran at Indianapolis with Brave Bird, Iron Head, Tailwind, Protect with Ockerberry. That one was pretty cool. Corviknight has okay stats. The problem with Bulk Up Corviknight really is that if you spam Bulk Up, like, there are matches where it can win 1v4s, but in the meantime, while you click Bulk Up, it just looks at the partner Pokemon, how it faints, and the next Pokemon, partner Pokemon faints, and then, like, even though Corviknight would be in a situation to win, it can still not win a 1 versus 4, because the opponent just gets 2 moves off, you only get 1 move off, and if your only move is Brave Bird, you also take Recoil. You understand the problem, right? That's why I'm not the biggest fan of Bulk Up right now, and I prefer Taunt and like 2 attack sets a little more. I don't think it's like super dangerous or like super good, but it's still a Pokemon that you should respect, so I'm putting it here. Grimmsnarl. Okay, I hate Grimmsnarl. Not playing against it, but using it myself. I mean, for those who have watched my Sun Rain video, I've never brought Grimmsnarl there. So, and when I used it in the MPA set against Terran Birdie, it felt so bad as well. Maybe I'm just not a good player with screens, but Grimmsnarl feels so bad. But in closed team sheet, you can like trick your opponent, not with a move trick, but I guess you can also do that, but more with like surprising sets such as Fake Out, such as like your opponent doesn't know if you have Spirit Break or Foul Play. You can run Sucker Punch on it as well. So Grimmsnarl can be tricky in closed team sheet and open team sheet. Screens are never bad, but have we seen any screens in Reg MA? We have seen a bit of Sableye, and this is when Light Clay wasn't even introduced yet. But I still, I can't put it here, right? I wanted to say I still prefer Sableye, but I can't put it here. I can already see the comment section like burning. So I'm putting it in B. I'm not putting it in B plus. Like, nah, screw that. I feel like I have to put Grimmsnarl somewhere here. I don't think it's that good. Sorry, not sorry. Also, I feel like I should drop Arcanine a little bit. Yeah, that doesn't seem that bad. Typhlosion Hisui. Typhlosion Hisui is an interesting choice. Frisk is pretty cool for ladder, but since we're not talking about ladder. Eruption, yay. Ghost typing, so immune to Fake Out, yay. Matching up badly into every single meta Pokemon, not yay. Like Basculegion, Kingambit, Garchomp, Incineroar, Aerodactyl, Blastoise. Bleh. What are we doing, Typhlosion? What are we doing? I still like it a little more than Ninetales and Gallade, but I don't think it has such a great place, honestly. Sneasler. Sneasler also feels like it fell off quite a bit, but it probably didn't. On balance, it's one of the best Pokemon still. It's a really good Pokemon into Floette in general, because having offensive poison and steel types, it's not that, like, it's quite rare. That's what I want to say. Nonetheless, Sneasler is a Pokemon that can feel bad sometimes. Like, if you have Sneasler in front of Basculegion, you're like, oh, what am I doing? But then you can still bail off with Diaclaw. And I will also answer that question. Diaclaw versus Poison Jab depends on your playstyle as well. If you want, like, I really like Poison Touch way more than Unburden. But if you run Poison Touch, Diaclaw, I just will give you the math. Poison Jab has a 51% chance to poison, while if you run Diaclaw, you have a 31% chance to poison, you have a 10% chance to paralyze, and a 10% chance to sleep. And like that 10% chance of paralyzing is often bad, because you don't want to paralyze something like Milotic, something like Sableye. You want to poison them instead. Same goes for like Sinistra, for example. So, and since Diaclaw procs before Poison Touch, like the Diaclaw calculation procs before Poison Touch, it's not like you get poison first. Like if Poison Touch would proc first before like the Diaclaw check, then I would say Diaclaw is for sure better. But this way, you gotta think about it. There are also a few sets with Gunk Shot. I think Gunk Shot is not bad, because Gunk Shot just deals more damage into Delphox, for example, but it also gets like the big knockouts, because some Floette are EV'd, some Sylveon are EV'd, but they are not EV'd for Gunk Shot. But then you miss, and then you would rather have dealt 95 instead of 0%. So yeah, anyways, I talked a lot about possible poison moves on Sneasler. You can also, like, there's a lot of variation again. You can run Rock Slide, you can run Rock Tomb, Coaching, Quick Guard, Feint. So Sneasler pretty cool. It's for sure an A tier. It's better than Venusaur. I think I would put Sneasler behind Metagross. I think this is fine. Also, is Venusaur really that high? Not really, I think. But is Morwai really that high? Questions over questions. Basculegion, super strong. It's so dangerous. It's a fake out immune Pokemon that also OKOs Incineroar through Intimidate. Ridiculous, right? You need some help against Impish Incineroar with Life Orb or Mystic Water, but if they are careful, you don't even need that. Which is insane. Choice Scarf sets, berry sets such as Citrus Berry, Colbur Berry, Kazip Berry, they are all there. Focus Sash. I feel like there's just too much this fish can do. Even though it's similar to Charizard, its moves are often very standard. It's like Aqua Jet, Last Respects. If they are not Choice Scarf, Protect, and then if they are Sash, Liquidation. If they are not, Wave Crash. If they are Choice Scarf, they run Flip Turn over Protect. Like, you know what it does, but then it still steamrolls your team, and it's so tough to play against. Like, honestly, whereas like King Gambit, that's really good into it, but that's pretty much it. I mean, look at the S, A plus, and A tier. Like, I guess Blastoise is not bad, Whimsicott, but yeah, a well positioned Basque Legion is always scary, and that's what I wanted to tell you and let you know about. Mousehold. Mousehold got a buff in Reg MB, which is Wildlands, because now you can run population bomb sets with Technician. With all the Ghost and Rock and Steel types around, maybe not the best set, but it can still be used nonetheless. You can also just use it as a support with Taunt, Anchor, Super Fang, Feint, Follow Me, Friend Guard. Really, really good. I think Mousehold is super strong. And definitely a Pokemon that you should keep in mind. Also, I could put more Pokemon probably in A-, right? But I think Mousehold, to be fair, Gardevoir is often paired with Mousehold, and Mousehold also gets used without Gardevoir, so I will put it here. Scovillin. Scovillin was quite popular in Reg MA, fell off quite a bit in Reg MB. Once again, I cannot explain it, because all the editions should favor Scovillin. I guess Staraptor is not great, but Staraptor also gets burned in return, so it's like a trade you take, I guess. So what did happen with Sko? Since it is like okay into Swampert, it's good into like all the steel types, obviously. And the metagame, I guess more sun means less fun for Scovillin, but it's still super good, right? It's around D-Knight level, I would say. Also more white. I should drop more white a bit. Yeah, I should definitely drop more white a bit. Venusaur maybe as well. Yeah, I think this is okay. Scovillin will always remain like a tricky Pokemon because it's never gonna be a super meta staple. There were times where we thought it would be, but its problem is really that it doesn't really hit fire types that well, and into many special attackers it's quite bad to have on the field. Against something like Calm Mind Floret, for example. Calm Mind Floret just Calm Minds in front of you and you're like, oh, Sko, what are you doing? Tinkaton, I feel like is on the rise because Farigiraf being quite popular right now, and a lot of the Farigiraf teams are structured the way that they do not care about Fake Out that much, since they often have Farigiraf on the field, or they also threaten Farigiraf switches. Tinkaton doesn't care about it because it has Mold Breaker Fake Out. That's one benefit. Another one is that it matches up super well into all the fairy types by resisting their moves and also OKOing them back with Gigaton Hammer. That being said, if you take a look at the S tier, it doesn't really match up that well into it. When you look at the A plus tier, and other than Incineroar, it has a great time. So it is really matchup dependent on how good Tinkaton is. It's definitely not a meta staple, and I still would prefer Weavile over Tinkaton, but I think it's not a terrible Pokemon either. Next is Cerulege, and Cerulege, I feel like, is also on the decline. Once again, it's a really good Pokemon into Charizard and Floette because of being a fire type, with Flash Fire as well, so even better into Charizard. But that, once again, it's not good into Garchomp and Basque Legion. Shadow Sneak is nice. Shadow Sneak is quite nice, but it won't be one of the biggest meta threats ever. I think it's like around Arcanine level, maybe a little better, because Bitterblade is so strong, and against this Eric Rio's team with Aerodactyl Garchomp, even though there's Aerodactyl and Garchomp, Sableye is still incredible into that team. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I recommend watching the NPA set from week 7. Because this is where I used that Garchomp Aerodactyl team, and I want to let you know how bad I felt playing against the Sableye. Even though I had a King Gambit, an Aerodactyl, and a Garchomp, it was still not fun to play against Sableye. I can tell you that much at least. Then we have Palafin, and Palafin got a nice addition in Grimmsnarl, because now you can like switch out Palafin, click Parting Shot, and have Palafin in turn 1 again, like Superman Palafin. Still, it's Jet Punch is cool, but it feels so lackluster. I've never been a big fan of Palafin. And to be fair, I have never used Palafin myself, so I can't really judge that well. But it's not that strong, I believe. I feel like Gyarados is just better, honestly. Like, Gyarados provides more, but it still should be in B tier, I think. Houndstone. I had so much fun with Houndstone. I reached first place on champion tier with Houndstone. I played it a bit in like online tournaments, and I also just generally used Houndstone a lot as well. It's not like I had it on the team and then it was whatever. I think Houndstone is great. It's not like B+ great, but it's a Pokemon that's just so fun to play. Maybe it's still just B-, but nah, come on. Let's give Houndstone a little love. It's like decently bulky. I had to find like good words to phrase it, because its bulk is not bad, like honestly, and it also has some nice supporting tools in Will-O-Wisp, Ally Switch, Snarl, and even more like Howl, Charm. It gets some very unique tools, and Last Respect is also quite dangerous. Its attack is quite low, however, and I don't recommend investing that much into attack either. So it's not like similar to Sash Basic Legion, where you just, or Scarf Basic Legion, where you have like these Last Respects end games. It's more of a supportive piece on sand teams instead. Glimora is so underused. Trust me, Glimora is so underused. Why is no one using Glimora? I'm putting it in B+. I don't care. I think it's better than Lycanroc right now. Glimora, so good. Sash Glimora, why is nobody using it? I don't get it. Doesn't it match up so well into the current metagame? Why is nobody using it? According to the results, I have to put it below Mamoswine, I guess. But why is nobody using it? I don't understand. Rock Poison is so good offensively. So why is nobody using it? I mean, I honestly don't get it. Sash, Glimora, Toxic Debris, really cool ability as well. So why is nobody using it? Please let me know down in the comments, because I really want to know. Mega Glimora is slightly worse. What's the reasoning? It's faster and stronger, which is usually something that is a benefit, right? It's beneficial. You have no item, and Focus Sash is really good because, if you take a look, Earthquake, Wave Crash, Water Spout, Psychic, a lot of the moves would just knock out Glimora, so having Focus Sash is quite good. Also, as I just said, Toxic Debris is a nice ability. Well, adaptability is good offensively, but like, yeah, it's a little more problematic. And it's still slower than Garchomp, which is the main issue for Mega Glimora. There's not a huge gap between these two, but I will put you over here. Farigiraf. Farigiraf might be an A+ Pokemon. Honestly, I love Farigiraf. It's been so good, not just on the Eric Rios team, but also on like Hard Trick Room. It works quite well. Generally, blocking priorities. This metagame is full of priorities, not just like all the fake out users. It's also Sucker Punch King Gambit, Aqua Jet Basket Legion, Bullet Punch Metagross. There are so many strong priorities, and I really love Farigiraf. Maybe it's a little too high though. Maybe I have to put you over here. If we are being frank, I've been saying that a lot lately, but yeah, it's just so good. Also, there have been a lot of different moves that are being played on Farigiraf, other than like Trick Room, Helping Hand, Psychic, Thunderbolt, like with standard stuff. We have seen War, which is really good into like Parish matchup, or if you want to reposition yourself, you can self-war, or you can war through Protect against opponents as well, against setup teams, or also if you just generally want to get them out of the field to have a better positioning. But we have also seen Sunny Day Farigiraf to have a great matchup into Rain. I have seen Graznot Farigiraf. I have seen like even offensive Farigiraf with Life Orb. I've seen Twin Beam instead of Psychic. I think Psychic is better because Twin Beam is literally only good into Sneasler. I don't even know if Twin Beam gets Focus Sash Venusaur, honestly. I have never made that calc. Like, you have to run max special attack then, so I guess you can run like Twisted Spoon so that you get like Venusaur and Glamora as well, but those are not super common, and Psychic, like the extra damage, is so much better. So please do not run Twin Beam. And no, this is no attempt of meta manipulating everybody. It's just a helpful advice. King Gambit is, in my opinion, not an S tier. I feel like King Gambit, whenever I use it, it feels so lackluster. I think it's not an S tier. I believe that, like, I believe when players say, oh, my King Gambit is so good, it sucker punches like everybody for a million. It's quite interesting that Sash King Gambit is like a very popular set right now, but so is Life Orb. Life Orb King Gambit gets like rolls. If you were wondering why are some people on Life Orb King Gambit, there are Charizards who survive +2 black glasses sucker punch. So if you can get like the extra jump with Life Orb, like the extra damage, that's for sure not bad, right? That is for sure not bad. And yeah, that's the main reason why you should run Life Orb, or not should, but like could run Life Orb. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Obviously, Ockerberry, Chopperberry, see play as well. They are all good. Annihilate. I'm not a big fan. It is a good partner for Mousehold, like with beat up stuff, with Rage Fist. I have seen like Focus Sash sets with like Close Combat, Rage Fist, Taunt, Protect, but it really doesn't fit into the better game. I feel like it's a B tier Pokemon. I think it's still better than most of these. Nah, I think it's... Is it? No, it's not. I think Revive is better. Prove me wrong. Like, gladly prove me wrong, honestly. When we have Goldango. Goldango is probably just an A tier, if not A minus. I have not seen that many Goldango around, and yes, it matches up super nicely into Sneasler, but other than that, look at like the best Pokemon. Even against Floette, it's not great, because Make It Rain doesn't necessarily KO unless you're like Life Orb, but then they can also Protect, switch into something. Like this Make It Rain nerf was quite dangerous, or not dangerous, but like quite harming for Goldango. But also, look at the best Pokemon, King Gambit and Itsunoa as well. It's just, it doesn't really feel like a Goldango metagame. Like, if this metagame would be full of Amoonguss, we would also see more Goldango. And that's what I mean with understanding the metagame, you know? But maybe I should still put it in A. It's still not terrible. It's still Goldango. When we have Archaludon, and Archaludon is also an A tier, I think. Yeah, no, it's also an A tier for sure. Also, I'm moving Weavile to B. I think Weavile is better than many of these. Yeah. I like that. Do I like that? Also, yeah, no, I like it. Yeah, what was I about to say? I was talking about Archaludon, right? I already forgot. Archaludon is an A tier. It's sad that there are no great Archaludon range setters. Like if we had better range setters, because Pelipper and Politoed are both like okay at best. So yeah, I feel like Archaludon is suffering from its partners, honestly. But I believe it's still a meta threat for sure. Is it top 15? Is it over Metagross? Yeah, I feel like Metagross is a little fake now. And last but not least, we have Cini, and Cini is on a lot of teams. Is Sinistra an A Pokemon? Yeah, probably, right? It's not an A plus tier Pokemon. I think Sinistra is probably around Archaludon level, I would say. Maybe a little higher, but not by much. It's better than Frostless lately, so I'm putting it here. And then I can move Blastoise up so that it looks a little nicer. Yeah, no, I like it. Should I add 2 more Pokemon to A- so that we have like a full row for B+ as well? But if I add 2 Pokemon, like if I add Mousehold, I'm adding Gardevoir. I will do it like that. Yeah, this looks like a good list. Let me double check. Also, I just saw that I hit the 2-hour mark. I said I wanted to do this in less than 2 hours. Close. But now I'm also moving Delphox up by 1 and Farigiraf. When I can move Venusaur and Morwai? Nah. They should not belong in the same tier, right? They should not belong in the same tier, no. Like, okay, Venusaur maybe, Morwai for sure not. Also, I will move like Kangaskhan 1 down. Then I can move Glimmora 1 down as well. Yeah, this looks great. I like it. So, yeah, this is my list. I feel like the top 3 are pretty reasonable. Then the A+ tier looks reasonable as well. I could move Sinistra up as well, but I should probably move Sinistra up as well. Frostless, nah, I don't want to flood the A+ tier, but I feel like if I move Sinistra, I probably also have to move Frostless. That's tough. Now I will leave it at that. Because there are a few matchups where Sinistra feels pretty bad, like against some Zadwai teams, against some King Gambit teams. So, yeah, no, I like the look of this. Is there anything I would change in like the lower tiers? Nah, I think this is a pretty good list. I hope like you could argue that like maybe an A- Pokemon could be B+, or like a B Pokemon could be B+. But there's no like A Pokemon that should be B, right? There's like no huge disparities, I hope. Let me know if I overlooked something. This was a long video. I hope you still enjoyed it. If you made it to the end, write anything funny in the comments. I will read it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time again. When I will do, like, I will never do this again. This was quite exhausting. I haven't even prepared a script. I have sometimes looked at my second screen just to see how long the recording is going, but yeah, maybe I should prepare a script for next time for like Reg MC, Reg Minecraft. Hopefully the next regulation is gonna be good. But before that, we have Worlds. I'm super looking forward to it. Let's see what is going to win Worlds. Maybe not the first 6 Pokemon you see here. Hell no. We will see. Anyways, see you in the next video. Until then, and bye bye.